What are the factors you need to consider before you move to San Francisco Bay Area for jobs? I will start with my personal experience. In 2018, I got a job offer from one of the companies here in San Francisco Bay Area. At that time, I was still living in Portland, Oregon, where the living cost is much lower. At that time, if you are looking at the housing price, the second half of 2018 is where you'll start to see the housing price got flattened. So that's where exactly I feel like the housing market might be shift in the next few years, because it's exactly 10 years away from 2008 economic downturn. As most of the economic experts put it, roughly every 10 years you will see a economic downturn. Based on the housing price flatten, I told myself that the housing market won't keep up as before. We should get prepared for it. So I made the decision to sell my house in Portland, Oregon, and to have the cash ready if I saw a price decrease at San Francisco Bay Area. After I moved to San Francisco Bay Area at the beginning of 2019, the housing market is not as hot as before, but definitely I wasn't able to spot any sign of slowing down. So I wait a little bit, and all of you know what happened at the beginning of 2020. The pandemic started and all of us are being locked down from home. Not mention to spend time to looking for houses. I only started to look into houses at the beginning of 2021 when the COVID situation is not as severe as the year of 2020. And by that time, the housing market is already been recovered and a lot of people are expecting to buy a house. So we're seeing a skyrocketing housing prices across the whole year of 2021. And I spent the whole year looking for a house, but I didn't get anything. That's the year I start to really question myself why I wasn't able to jump into housing market when there's actually some discount at the beginning stage of the pandemic. It's because of the fear. At the beginning of the pandemic, everyone is feared of the stock market crash. People are unsure of all this unemployment and the COVID situation. But when we're suddenly coming out of this situation, when we start to fear less of the situation, the competition of housing market is already going up. At the end of 2021, just when I thought I would give up on the housing market, we are once again dragged by another type of fear, which is the fear of inflation and interest rate hikes. When inflation happens, basically means there's more depreciation of the money that I have. And also because of the interest rate hikes, which means if I'm going to buy a house in the future, I'm going to pay more on mortgage. Based on those two fears, I was dragged into looking house again. And eventually, I bought the house here in Fremont based on the affordability. So you can see a lot of those decisions are not rational. Most of the people made the mistake to make a decision based on fear rather than rational assessment. So if you are someone like me a few years ago, if you are looking for a lateral career move, if you get a job offer from San Francisco Bay Area, maybe what you can do is looking at the worst case scenario. Try to have a risk mitigation plan. For example, you can ask yourself or ask your partner, what if my salary didn't increase for the next few years? Okay, thanks for watching. I will see you next one.